My third time trying to record this video, guys. All right. So I'm over here just going through healing my sinus stuff that I got going on right now. Okay. So this video is going to be a pre-recorded live video because I am not going to be able to talk as long as I normally would. So I wanted definitely to get in, get this toned message out. Um, so I could go back and get me some rest. Okay. So we're not going to waste any time. All right. Just so you know, we're going to start charging the water again. Once my voice is better, okay. Once the voice is better, we will start a new practices of charging the water, setting our intention, and tonal energies. Okay, so I was told that there is a specific way that I need to do these messages moving forward. Okay. So there's some foundational things that I have to put in place, and this is one of them. Okay. The first thing we do need to discuss is going to be your spirit's routine. Okay. So spiritual can be breaking down into spirit's ritual. Okay. So we're going to talk about that really quickly and what that looks like in the quasi era, is some of the things that you can do to begin to tap in on a deeper level. Okay. The next video that I do want to do, but I need my voice for this one, is unpacking our spiritual toolbox. Okay. Because you need to know what tools are available to you spiritually, so you can use them when needed. Okay. You have so many things available to you, and we're going to talk about that in the next video. Today's transmission is just getting you ready to know that you need to create a spiritual routine. You cannot pretend anymore. Okay, so you can't walk around saying, king, queen, ashe, and you're not doing your work. You are going to be recognizable via your tone, your resonance. Okay, so if you're not doing the work, you're not going to be able to hide it anymore. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear the energy in the space so we can anchor the tone and the intention in which we're going to be setting for this message transmission. Okay. That one felt really good, y'all. Mm. Ooh, that one hit my body, y'all. Ooh, okay. Energy is clear. So we're going to go ahead and set the intention for these message in this particular video. All right. My intention is to show up as a vessel of channel energy, showing up with the intention of bringing truth, clarity, and coherence with love to all that is listening to these videos. These messages are timeless, and these messages are meant to help you to remember who you are. All right. With that being said, let's go on over and get into my disclaimer. All right. These messages are not for everyone, because if you are not interested in doing your spiritual work, whether you call it shadow work or whether you call it unpacking your psyche, it doesn't matter. If you're not interested in doing any of the spiritual work, these messages will not be for you and they will not resonate with you. Okay. So, with that being said, access is going to be granted to you based on what your inner belief system is. Okay. Um, or your inner knowing is. Okay. So, whatever you believe or whatever you give limits to, that is based on how access on these spiritual things will be granted to you. It's not hidden from you, but you have to give yourself permission, okay, in order to activate these things, okay, and in order to embody these things. Because if you limit yourself, spiritually, then you can't fully activate and utilize these gifts, okay. Okay, so next, I want you to know that energy is fluid. Okay, so I can say that this is your energy, but it feels more like the energy you're interacting with. So you want to go ahead and place the energy where it needs to be. And last but not least, I am not your guru. Okay, you are your own guru. You are the one that you've been seeking for all this time. The kingdom is within you. Okay, so whatever God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you're searching for, it is in you, not externally. Okay, you need to recognize that there's nobody coming out from the sky to help you. Maybe to activate energy so you can help yourself, but you got to do the work. Okay, you got to do the work. All right. So the resonant tone that's coming out in this message today, the sacred geometry tone, is a tone activating allowance. Okay. Now, when you allow things to flow, that means that you're not blocking any energy. You're allowing tension to be released from your body. Okay. Now, there's a lot of green energy here, which says to me, heart chakra energy is being activated, but there's also some remnants of blue highlights. So that could be some throat chakra energy, and also remnants of orange and yellow highlights. So we're also talking about solar plexus and sacral chakra energy. So basically, we're talking about forgiveness, unforgiveness. We're talking about confidence, lack of confidence. We're talking about determination and willpower. We're also talking about relationships, emotions, and the change that needs to happen in those relationships. Okay. And all of this is coming from this allowance tone. All right. Let me go ahead and read to you the message. Now, keeping in mind, this message is coming in the vibration of the number nine. Nine is a number of completion. Okay. This is where you don't have to try anymore. You can just be, you can just allow. Okay. The frequency of allowance invites us to be open to whatever comes our way without judgment, without opinion, without fear, without resistance. When we allow, the universe becomes a partner in the wondrous dance of existence and expansion. Okay. So, what are you not allowing in your life? What things are you holding on to that the universe is trying to say, okay, this no longer fits or resonates? This no longer fits or resonates. Okay. What are you holding on to that the universe is saying, this no longer fits or resonates? Okay. Now, before I begin the looping energy, I want you to take a deep breath in for 4 and then breathe out for 6. Okay. And as you did that, I want you to take inventory of where in your body you may feel tightness. Okay. That's going to give you some answers of maybe where you're not allowing energy to flow. Okay. So the looping energy here is the vesica piscis. Okay, and let me just go ahead and repeat that because my voice is not doing so well in this transmission. So we're holding it all together within this allowance frequency. So the vesica piscis, okay, is what you would call the divine wound. All right. So even if we're looking back to any ancient symbology, this is going to be feminine energy. This is going to be creative energy. This is going to be birthing energy or fertility energy. Okay. Now, this can also be referenced back to the female wound or the feminine wound, the wound of creation. It can also be represented as the woman's vagina, just like you can have what they call um, uh, um, obelisks, those obelisks, right? Obelisks are definitely filled with power, but they're also representation of the male's phallus, which is, also representing masculine energy. So this is representing feminine energy, and a phallus will represent masculine energy. Okay. So the looping tone is one of feminine energy saying, what are you creating? What are you creating in this energy? What are you birthing? Now, remember, creation and birthing things does not necessarily mean that everything you birth is going to be from a place of clear, coherent energy. This energy can come in distorted, right? So here is where I get to remind you, right, that even sexual energy doesn't birth babies only. When you have sexual intercourse with somebody, it's an exchange of energy, right? So sexual energy is really creative energy. So this is what you would call all aspects of that energy, okay? Now, you do want to keep in mind when this energy shows up, right? This energy is birth and energy, divine feminine energy. This energy is also about the Trinity, tapping into your body, mind, and soul. Okay, this is a sacred union, merging with yourself. Okay, or all aspects of yourself, whether it's me, us, or you, depending on where you're looking prospectively from it. Okay, this also is merging with your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. All right, the Trinity. Thoughts is air energy, emotions is water energy, and action will be fire energy. And then the output of all of those three energies will be earth energy, your manifestation, or the matter, the material. Okay. What are you birthing that you're still not allowing the universe to birth to you without distortion? Is there any lies or anything that you're still holding on to about yourself or other people that you're trying to bring into this new energy that does not resonate on this allowance frequency? What are you trying to force into existence? What are you trying to force into existence? What are you not allowing? The energy is looping and letting you know that there is beautiful creative energy here to birth things, but you got to be paying attention to what you're birthing, paying attention to what you're holding on to and not trying to let go of, right? You got to start taking control of where you put your thoughts, where you put your emotions, and then where you direct your actions towards, because that's going to produce the outcome. Now, when I shuffle these cards, two cards jumped out. You had the Anunnaki card that also jumped out. Okay. And when this Anunnaki card shows up, especially when it shows up upright, this lets us know that this energy could be energy of someone always wanted to be right. This is an energy of duality. This is an energy of control. This is an energy of black and white. There's no color in this energy when it's upright. This is an energy of separation. This is an energy of disagreement. Okay. This is an energy of your enemies or those that will call or your enemies. Okay. Um, this is energy of maybe even sibling rivalry. Okay. So you need to know that it's asking you energetically to tap into your emotions and what are you holding on to energetically that you're trying to control, that's trying to leave your experience. What conversations do you feel like you always got to be right? What situations do you feel like you always got to be right? What are you forcing into your experience that is more difficult than it should be because you're not allowing things to come in and flow out with ease? Okay. Now we got the looping energy of new things are constantly being birthed, but there's also energy of here. It's like you can be happy, right? You can be in a place where you're whole, or you can be right. There's no need to be right all the time, especially when it comes to other people. There's no need to be right, right? There's just a need to be, right? Because it is in your imperfections where you find perfection. So there's no need to be right. You got attraction showing up. You also got reunion and soul ties showing up. I feel like you need to be mindful of reoccurring energy. This feels to me like retrograde energy coming back, something from the past showing up to let you know, nah, 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 sweetheart. This can't come into the future with us. Okay. This is asking you to pay attention to what you're attracting because it's time for you to make some changes and have the courage to do so. Pay attention to what you're attracting, especially anything laced with toxicity or patterns that keeps you bound. That's going to be important. Okay. What are you still holding on to? in your experience? What are you still holding on to you, or what's still holding on to you in this experience that's toxic, that's patterns that keeps you in a loop, right, of cause and effect and being frustrated because things are not unfolding the way that you think they should? It's saying right here, know that whatever you're attracting, right, that you don't want, you got to pay attention to you and having the courage to have those things change. And it could be relationships, and I'm kind of feeling like even some of these relationships, you've had an out to kind of detach and disconnect. Some of these relationships, you didn't even have to say anything to these people because they just kind of faded away without you having to say anything. Right? Remember, we're operating on two different energetic timelines here, right? We're operating from an ancient timeline system where it tracked not just the earth um, essence or the earth's energy, but it also tracked the time in the cosmos, right? That's the ancient calendar, which is at play as we speak right now. But you also have the Gregorian calendar, right, which is a distorted timeline, okay, and distorted energy frequencies, right? So the question is, are you paying attention enough to know that something subtle is happening that you cannot see with your eyes, but it's asking you to remember? It's asking you to heal the parts of you that you've given to other people to be responsible for. It's asking you to not be the victim anymore for being held emotionally hostage because you're not getting what you want outside of yourself. It's asking you to stop seeking external validation. It's asking you to stop seeking healing from abandonment issues through attaching yourself to other people or through other people attaching themselves to you. So this energy is unfolding in toxic patterns. This energy is unfolding in where you've been putting your attention and some of the things that you've been attracted to. This energy is letting you know that it's time for change, but you're going to have the courage to do so. This energy is also asking you, what do you need to be detached from, or what, right? Energy around you seems cold and detached that you actually can walk away and let go. They're saying how to navigate this is not through avoidance. You cannot navigate this through avoiding that. That needs change. You cannot navigate this through avoiding the change. I'm hearing that again. You cannot navigate this through avoiding the change. You cannot navigate this with fear and limitation. You can't. You're not going to get to the other side of this with fear and limitation. You're going to have to face those fear. You're going to have to obliviate those limitations. Okay. Now, I want to say something here. Being guarded and vulnerable, right, is not always a bad place to be. Discernment is where you begin to use your vulnerability in guarding yourself efficiently and coherently and in alignment, okay? Because if you're guarded all of the time, love cannot come in and flow out. If you cannot receive unconditional love without being vulnerable, okay? But the thing is, if you don't use discernment and you don't set your boundaries properly, people are going to trample all over your boundaries, okay? Especially if you're an empath, okay? You can't avoid this. You cannot avoid this. You are going to have to set some boundaries and you're going to have to guard your energy. Pay attention to where you're sending your energy out. Okay. North node energy is coming up. This is purposeful energy. Okay. This is cosmic energy. And it's really saying it's time. We're here to help support this change that's here. You may not be able to put it into words, but there's a lot of us light workers, channelers, a lot of us guys, a lot of us angels. You got earth angels out here as well as your cosmic angels. You got so much wonderful presence that's here to help you, right? So right now, you cannot be just thinking about the earthly clock or the earthly time. You also has to be thinking about cosmic time because that's the order of the day now. We stepped into the, whether you want to call it the golden age, um, we've stepped out of that energy where things are hidden to us. Things are no longer hidden. You can tap into it all. Okay. So the question is, what is your spiritual routine? And does your spiritual routine lines up with you tapping in, not avoiding the things that needs to be dealt with, discerning to see where you need to put up boundaries and guard yourself, discerning where you may need to be a little bit more vulnerable and open, right? Because it is about receptivity, right? Understanding that you cannot Step into where we are now energetically with just your natural eyes. It's cosmic energy, which means that there's going to be subtle energy patterns that you cannot see with your physical eyes. Okay. Your spirit needs a routine. All right. So you just jumping up out of your bed every day and turning on the news, as you brush your teeth, or you jumping up out of bed and before your feet touch the ground, are you standing in gratitude, are you meditating, are you journaling? What are you doing to ground yourself in this energy? Your spirit needs a routine. What is your spirit's ritual? Okay. You need a routine and you need to be able to do it consistently and coherently. All right. So, this is the first foundation that we're going to be standing on in this energy. Coming up with your spiritual routine. What is going to be your spirit's ritual? Is it, mine is right now is meditation and journaling. I got 3 different journals, right? So, I got a journal where I'm tracking all of the supernatural things that are happening, because I'm doing some different things in my meditation. I got a journal where I am venting and getting out all of the hidden shadow parts of me that's now coming in for alignment, that were fractured, right? The fragmented part of me. I'm now journaling so I can begin to align those aspects of me. And then I got my third journal, and this is a journal where I'm establishing my now point, or what you want to say, my present point. Okay. And your present point is always that is present. All right. Because I understand my present point is what's establishing my future point. Right. So that's just one of my new routines that I've now taken up for myself personally. Okay, so journaling and meditation, a lot of stillness. So I now shut it down at least an hour or two before bedtime. So no long phone conversation, an hour or two before I go to bed. I need to come down. I need to reframe some things, go through my day. I need to take inventory of what's going on in me, through me, okay, for me, right? So there's some practices that I have reestablished in my walk, and you're not going to be able to navigate this energy without having some type of spiritual routine, a spiritual ritual where you can have practices to help you to stay aligned, to help you to stay in tone, to help you to make proper discernments, to help you to tap into your intuitive part of you and even grow stronger in that part of you, right? So, yeah, think about that. Think about what your spiritual routine is and drop it in the comment section. Maybe it's something that other people can help adapt. Okay. Now, on that note, my voice seems like it's crackling. I'm going to go ahead and end this transmission. Okay. I was told that moving forward, I need to sound a closing tone. So I'm going to sound a closing tone. I don't know if you heard that, but that was definitely a closing tone, right? That's the driest saying that is done. But I'm going to go ahead and sound the closing tone, okay? And if my voice is better, we will do the video about what's in your spiritual toolbox. We'll begin to unpack our spiritual toolbox. If my voice is not better by tomorrow, you're going to have another channel sacred geometry resonance message. Okay. And to be honest, we were supposed to launch a new foundation in the nervous system and the 12 strand DNA and everything this week. But I got to be honest, guys, I was not able to pre record any of those things because of my voice and my sinuses. So we may have to push that back until next week, but you will be getting the resonance sacred geometry messages up until my voice comes back where I'm able to jump back in to the swing of things. Okay. So what is your intention that you're setting for yourself? Set that intention as you allow the energy to flow in without setting any type of boundaries as what, you know, good and beneficial for your highest and greatest self, right? The boundaries that you need to really pay attention to as you allow things to flow out is these toxic boundaries. Anything that's rooted in fear and doubt, okay? Anything that's rooted in limitation is what you need to pay attention to. There's allowance happening, all right? You know how you study other people, sources saying it's time for you to study yourself. Study yourself to show thyself approved. Okay. All right. I love each and every one of you. Okay. We're going to end the transmission here. That felt so good, y'all. Like I literally felt that tone vibing through my body. All right, so y'all know the deal. You want to go ahead and do something kind for yourself because you absolutely friggin' should. You absolutely should. Okay. And then you want to go ahead and do something kind for somebody else, not because you have to, but because you can, right? And joy is contagious, confidence is contagious, laughter is contagious, and happiness is contagious. Okay. All right. I love you guys much, and I'm going to see you guys in your next message tomorrow. You have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay. Bye, my loves.